Yes.
There is a great reward
Amen.
when we understand Malachi saying, return unto me, teshuvah.
Yeah.
We hear the blowing of the shofar, to sound the alarm, to wake us up,
Amen.
to return to our good deeds,
Yes.
return to our serving of
Yep.
God, and return to our first fruit offerings.
Well, most people, I think, are like we were years ago, thinking that Malachi was Old Testament.
Exactly.
That had passed away. That was history. That's where the dividing line came, and now all we need is the New Testament. But what we didn't understand is that Malachi, it is historical, but it's prophetic
Without
to
a doubt.
connect the old, the foundations, to the new, and to what Jesus actually taught. And this blew us away when we discovered this, really. Jesus said himself, I didn't come to do away with the Torah. I didn't come to start a new religion.
Or replace
I
it.
didn't come to replace what God had set in place.
That's a great point.
He said, I came to fulfill it and to connect you to it. And so Jesus himself, we were laughing before, we said, well, what was in Jesus' library?
Yeah.
What were his resources?
Yeah.
You know, he didn't start something new. He brought us back to what God laid out in the very beginning.
Yeah, when you said it before at break, when Jesus taught the scripture, he wasn't teaching Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John.
Right.
There was no Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John.
Yeah.
When Jesus said 30, 60, 100-fold,
Right.
he wasn't making that up.
Yeah.
He's talking about 30, three times a year, 60, you come before the Lord, 100-fold, which is the offering right now, and you do not come empty-handed. Jesus did not come to take us away.
No.
That's why, as you were saying on break, Malachi is for the Gentiles.
Yes.
Because in Malachi, it was all about, they came out of Babylonian. Listen to this. When Malachi was written, it's called the Great Assembly.
Yeah.
And they had just come out of Babylonian captivity because they were not remembering it was God who gave them power to gain wealth.
Wow.
So they went into Babylonian captivity. When they came out, they met in the Great Assembly and said, God, what do we do that our enemy doesn't defeat us anymore?
Amen.
And God says, return unto me. Teshuvah.
Yeah.
They understand. Hear the sound of the shofar.
Yeah.
God